Welcome to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show featuring a variety of subjects of local interest. This program was pre-recorded, so we're unable to take live calls on today's show. And now, let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Let's Talk About It show here on AM 1470 KELA and KMNT 104.3. Maybe you're streaming the show, and I hope you are. KELAAM.com, KMNT.com. This is the Let's Talk About It show, and this is a great show. It's a show that we've done before because of how important it is to our community. We're going to be talking about the Polar Plunge, and specifically the Lewis County Icicle Brigade is a group of volunteers that help raise money for the Lewis County Special Olympics group, our athletes here in Lewis County, and we plunge at Mayfield Lake on January 27th at 9 a.m., and you can join the team or donate if you don't want to jump into 40-degree weather at Mayfield Lake or 40-degree water in probably 35-degree weather. But it is a ton of fun. We have heaters, we have food, we have music, and we have two really special people here to talk about Special Olympics generally and the plunge. We have Ruben Ramirez, officer with the Centralia Police Department, and Sara Sons with the Lewis County Department of Health?
Public Health and Social Services.
I always just call it Department of Health because it's just easier. No?
I think a lot of people do, and that's fine. I think people generally know what you're talking about if you say that.
I think they do too. So, Sara, let's start with you. Let's talk a little bit about Special Olympics. Tell us a little bit about Lewis County Special Olympics.
Yeah, so Lewis County Special Olympics is part of the state program, Special Olympics. Each community or each county has their own program. And so we operate under the umbrella of Washington State Special Olympics, but we are our own program. We're run solely off of volunteers. And we offer year-round sports to community members who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. So each season we're offering at least one sport for athletes to participate in.
And how important is efforts like the torch run in the summer and the Polar Plunge in terms of how we fund some of these programs and making sure the money gets to the right people?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, our local program is run completely off of volunteers, and we don't receive any funding from the state. So the funds that we raise locally for our program go to pay for things like transportation, uniforms, equipment, facilities, all the things that really keep our program going. So without doing this local fundraising, we wouldn't be able to offer what we're able to offer to our athletes.
And so tell me a little bit about your involvement with Special Olympics, because you're really, really involved. I know your husband's very involved. He's torch running, he's polar plunging, and also in your professional career at the county, you do a lot with Special Olympics.
Yeah, so in the professional side of it, I help with coordinate. I help to, arrange the facilities and to help make sure that our volunteers are trained and that all the paperwork is in place. But also personally, my daughter is a Special Olympics athlete, so my whole family is involved. And I can just say that it's been a really great opportunity to be part of it professionally, but personally, this program means a lot to me. And
you get a lot of support from your family. I mean, your husband, he kicks butt. He's always out there.
Yeah, and, not all of our athletes have family support and transportation available. And so we have a van, and he's the van driver. And so he gives up a lot of Saturdays throughout the year to make sure that athletes are able to get to the different competitions that are usually, up in King County or far away. So,
well, and isn't that kind of why we tried to move the Polar Plunge a little bit closer?
Yeah, and I know that for years, and Ruben will probably talk about it, but he's been doing the Polar Plunge for a really long time. And we had a lot of local participation, but it was a far drive and it wasn't very accessible. And so now having it locally, not only are we able to have our volunteers and community supporters participate, but we're actually able to have a lot more athletes and families come down and see the support of the community. So it's been great to be able to have it closer to home.
Yeah, Ruben, why don't you talk a little bit about your involvement, because you're the one that really got me involved. I remember as many years ago, you asked for my law firm to donate some money, and I'm like, well, what's this all about? I want to get involved in the torch run, and you are just so involved. Not only are you one of the best law enforcement officers in the county, because I think you get elected that a lot, or nominated that a lot, but you just work so hard on Special Olympics. Talk about your involvement.
Well, I think the first time you did it, that was when we were doing it at Point Defiance Zoo, and I think I did come for a donation.
Way up in Tacoma.
Yeah. And so that was kind of tough. And before that, we were going to South Lake Union. And my involvement started in 2008, working for the police department. One of the officers was really involved, Doug Lee, and he got me to do the torch run. And he had invited me to do the polar plunge, but I was kind of chicken, so I never really did that. I was like, I like warm weather. And then in 2011, I finally said, yeah, okay, I'll do it, and started fundraising and went and did the polar plunge. And it was just phenomenal. It was awesome, the amount of people that were there and just all the support. So then in 2013, he says, hey, how about the super polar plunge? I don't know what that is, but you get to wear this really cool Superman cape. And I thought I was just going up there for the night and then you plunge in the morning. Well, it ended up where you plunge every half hour from 10 o'clock at night till the next morning. So we plunged 24 times.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but the good thing is that a lot of the guys were law enforcement other than two people. So we all worked graveyards pretty much at that time. And so we slept the day before. So that, to us, it was fine. We were up all night and just having a great time. And then the final one was the next day with, Blue Thunder and all the polar plunge. Everybody that signed up basically in the state came to that. And we plunged with that group. So that's how I got involved. And after that, I've just been doing it every single year. And then it moved from South Lake Union to Point Defiance and now Alki Beach.
Yeah.
But it was tough getting everybody there. I remember coordinating with Patty Nelson trying to get some of the athletes up there. And I had this big, huge Ford Excursion. I still have it, and I'd pile as many people as I could in that, and another vehicle and a trailer pulling up, like a heater and all that stuff. And so having our own, I think you brought it up at one of the meetings where we were starting to get ready for that, and said, hey, how about doing our own? So we started tossing the idea around, and so that probably worked. And then I think you did the very first one. That year I still went up and did the one up at Point Defiance. And then the following year we started doing it here, all of us, joining in and doing it. So huge, hurrah to you, because you're basically the one that really started it here in Lewis County. And
right.
Even with everything that you're doing and as big as you are, and but it's nice because of all the connections we have in Lewis County. We have a huge support network. Just Aldersons. They
Yep.
donate every single year. I'm wearing a sweatshirt now that he donated, for the Ice Brigade. I got, we got beanies this year. We got mugs last year. They're just super amazing people. And Lewis County is just nothing but amazing, supportive people for Special Olympics.
Yeah, they're our community, I say it over and over again on this show, they're so giving. And I remember even this year reaching out to Tom Alderson and saying, hey, I'm not asking for a handout, but is there a way that we could donate something like you've done in the past, or we'll buy it at cost, I'll do it, to kind of encourage people to join our team, to donate. Yeah. He's like, absolutely, I'll do it. I'll print it. How's this? And he sends a proof of it. I'm just like, man, that guy he gets it. I don't expect Tom Alderson to plunge, but he knows kind of what kind of helps motivate some people to maybe join the team and be proud of what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah, and the same thing for the torch run. When I went to him, we figured we'd have about 50 runners, and then when it was all said and done, we were up to about 75, and he donated all the shirts for that event as well.
Yeah.
So, just a huge savings for us, and all that money that we save goes to Special Olympics of Lewis County.
Yeah, and if you want, and people can still join the team. The team is not plunging in Mayfield Lake until January 27th, 9 a.m. It's right over at the Mayfield Lake Park. It'll be probably cold. It'll probably be, the water's going to be about 40 degrees. The weather's going to be about the same. Yeah. But how fun is it? When I was chicken my first year too, and I was like, I don't know if I can jump in this cold water. But when you jump in with all those people, like 50 people just running in, it's not that cold.
It's not. You're so excited, and then some of the athletes are there, and it just inspires you to go ahead. I'd jump in icicles, if I had to, but it's just a blast.
Yeah,
you really don't feel it.
And last year or the year before, I think both years, Paula Burrows brought a big coffee truck and donuts and food. It's turning into an event.
It is. Yeah. Hopefully it gets bigger every year, and like I said, the more people that join, the better it's going to be.
So your first year was 2011,
2011.
Right? Okay. And where was that one located?
That was in South Lake Union up in Seattle.
And did you jump in that year, or did you chicken?
Oh, I jumped in.
Yeah?
Yeah, I might have. Yeah, I jumped in.
So you're questioning whether you did or not.
I have video. I think I have video, and I have some photos. And Penny Nelson was there, and her son Mike were there, and I remember holding on to his hand because it was it was cold that day.
Yeah. Well, and Patty's someone to talk about too, because she's part of this family of Special Olympics parents and supporters and volunteers. I mean, Mike I've watched him play basketball and all these other sports. That's got to be pretty rewarding to see the people who are benefiting from your hard work.
Oh, definitely. I feel selfish because I feel so good being around them. I'm selfish. Okay.
Yeah.
Because seeing that to me makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But they're just amazing.
Well, and I tell people about volunteering and they don't believe it. And what you said is exactly right. I mean, it sometimes feels selfish because you're taught that, you volunteer to make other people feel good, to meet a need in the community. But in the end, it makes you feel great.
It does. Yeah. When the day's over and the event's over, you're just giddy all day. You're just like, man,
you are.
That just felt great.
And I want to tell everybody.
Yeah.
I just polar plunged. I did it for Special Olympics. These kids are going to benefit from our fundraising and the community generosity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sara, you and I talked a little bit. I think, was it at the polar plunge last year, where you had a little bit of a story of a mom or a dad or a parent who said something about uniforms when they found out how much money we had raised?
Yeah, well, like I said, we rely on these community funds that we raise to purchase all sorts of stuff for our Special Olympics athletes and teams. And we have, a lot of uniforms that need to be replaced and updated. And so we want to show up to these competitions and look like a real team and everybody have matching uniforms and feel really good about themselves and have that experience to be, the real team experience with all the matching uniforms. And we weren't able to do that for a while. So we're really excited because we've been successful in fundraising through the Polar Plunge and with the Torch Run, that we've been able to update some of our uniforms. Not for all teams. We still have things that we need to do and uniforms we need to update, but we have been able to purchase some equipment and things, and that means so much to the athletes to be able to show up in a nice uniform and feel like their team is put together, and that just they show up ready to go when they have those nice uniforms. So that made a big difference for the athletes and the families.
Yeah, and I think what you said to me was you got a call from a parent or a coach looking for uniforms, and they weren't sure they were going to get some. And when you let them know how much that the Polar Plunge raised, they were super excited that they would be able to get their team uniforms.
Yeah, and and I didn't mention it earlier. I mentioned that the volunteers and we rely on fundraising, but Special Olympics is free to every participant, and some programs have to charge participants so they can get the new uniforms and provide the transportation. And we really don't want to have to do that. We want to be able to keep this a program that's free for anybody who wants to participate. And so, again, the fundraising just means so much because we're able to purchase those uniforms and have athletes use those at no cost to them.
And so, I mean, this is great. So the fundraising not just benefits the athletes, but the families, the coaches, everybody involved, because it really is just all volunteer driven, right?
It is. And I want to say that the majority of our volunteers, you mentioned Patty Nelson earlier, who's the prime example of a parent who's volunteered a lot of time to give back to the community. But a lot of our coaches are parents or family members or siblings. And so, yeah, the fundraising not only helps the athletes, it helps the families. It's just all around, again, where we rely on these funds to be able to offer this program. And it benefits the athletes and the families in so many ways, aside from just the sports that they're participating in.
Yeah, and you can't ignore the current economy, right? Coming out of COVID, COVID was really tough on this population and their families. I mean, there are a lot of folks with special needs that get into a routine, and Special Olympics is kind of part of their life. It's kind of a necessary part of their life. And then coming out of that, a tough economy, the dollars don't always go as far. And so I would imagine even like a van, your excursion, Ruben, driving up to Lake Union. I mean, gas is more expensive. So it's so important for a community to rally around these athletes.
Yeah, let me talk about the van for a second, because this was really cool. Twin Transit had community vans, and I had reached out. We were trying to get one. We had a group of athletes we needed to get up to King County for a track meet, and just didn't have the, if you do a couple of a van rental, it costs $600 for the weekend, and that can eat through our funds really quick. And I had reached out to Twin Transit, and they sold our local Special Olympics program a van for $1.
Wow.
And we've been using that van ever since to get athletes to and from competitions. And so that's just an example of like the community rallying together to support this program and what a difference that has made for our athletes.
Yeah. And Ruben, talk about those partnerships, because some of the partnerships that we talk about are people don't know about. That's a great example of Twin Transit stepping up, and we see them at the torch run because they often will donate a bus, or someone will donate a bus on the torch runs. But you're out there, you're meeting with businesses and individuals about donations and partnerships. It's got to feel good to see people stepping up.
Oh, absolutely. We do have a lot of partnerships, and for the torch run, I mean, the big one is law enforcement. I mean, we get participation from every law enforcement in the county, and to include ones in Thurston, which Chehalis Tribal comes down. Lucky Eagle Casino has always provided us with something. Before they were giving us a big bus to transport the athletes. To include some donations and water and all that. But, and then our families, just huge. We have a lot of family support. I think everybody here and all law enforcement officers, their families would come out, and ride. Right. I know my family's always been a huge supporter.
Not just ride, but run.
Run, yeah. My sister, just been a huge help. Fiddlers has always pitched in and helped out with that. But, I mean, there's so many businesses that when you see our shirt is just, it's crazy. Before, when I was doing in 2008, the torch run, I remember that we were charging every athlete to register $25, $20 to $25 to register to get a shirt. Yeah. That just didn't sit well with me. I was like, this is why we were doing it. Why are we charging? So we ended up changing that, where every athlete gets a free shirt. They get a free registration. They get gifts. It's a big party for them at the end. We have a huge barbecue. Big T Barbecue's always, we say, hey, how much do I owe you for this? And he's always said, nope, this is this, we want to do this for them. So yeah, just huge partnerships out there.
Now this show is mostly focused on the polar plunge, but let's talk about the torch run a little bit, because how long is that? Because it seems like every year, Ruben, you make it longer and longer.
It used to be pretty long. It used to start at Winlock High School, and there was just a long stretch that was just nothing but big, huge semis and log trucks, and that felt a little dangerous. So we start at Napa by now, and then kind of weave around throughout the Chehalis and Centralia, and then finally, and we used to end at Bourse Park, Schaefer Park, but now Bourse Park seems like that's the best place to go, because that it's right there, it's local, centralized, and everybody can come and participate. But 13.1 miles, there was a time when it was about 18. Yeah. But we did have shorter ones before. Remember during COVID, there was supposed to be no torch run. Yeah. 0. I remember getting a few phone calls from SOA telling us, hey, no torch run, no torch run. But, we were all working together, law enforcement officers working on the same shift.
And SOA means Special Olympics Washington, right?
Correct, yeah. So, I mean, we were all working together. We're like on the same shift. So as long as the lane is 8 foot wide and we stay within 6 feet apart of each other, no athletes were present. Families could bring them and sit in their vehicles and watch. We're still trying to do it. We weren't going to just lay down, and we still have to raise the money. We still have to keep this going. We want the athletes to still see something. So we ended up doing it for a year. And then the next year, I think SOA used our model to do the same thing up north. And then before, finally going full.
Because we're the best.
Oh, absolutely. We have the best support and nonstop. You can't stop us.
And it's Lewis County. We weren't going to say we weren't going to let anybody at the state tell us what to do. We're going to do it ourselves. So.
No, yeah.
But it was but I remember running out to Edison and watching you all. I remember telling my kids, "Hey, they're doing the torch run." So I think it was a little late, but I saw the live feeds, and I ran out to the corner of North Washington and Edison to see you guys, and it was good. I wish I could have run. A lot of people probably do, but what's nice is we know our community cares about Special Olympics, and they did it. You did it. The law enforcement did it.
Yep. Yeah, we before during COVID we didn't do what we normally do, is run through every school. Yeah, because the kids will always come out and cheer us on. And finally last year we were able to start that again, and it was just amazing. The athletes had an amazing time.
Yeah, I love running by those schools and seeing the kids run out. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, you get so many high fives.
Get a lot of high fives. Yeah, a lot.
They're all cheering.
But I just want to kind of correct something. You said 13.1. This year was longer than 13.1.
13.9.
I think it was longer than that. Either it's getting longer or I'm getting older, because it felt like it was like 100 miles.
It was warm.
Oh, it was warm. That's true. What's neat too is that if you can't run the torch run, and we'll probably do a show later on this spring about it. You can hop on the bus, you can walk on the downtown parts. I mean, it's a little bit hybrid. You don't have to run the entire time.
No. You just run as much as you want, walk as much as you want. If you get tired, you jump on the bus, get some refreshments, and then jump out again if you want to.
Now, my son ran the whole thing, and he's 10, and he shamed me and says, I ran it all, but you didn't. And I still am reminded of that all the time.
He needs a trophy for that.
Yeah, well, or to be grounded for making fun of his dad for not being able to do all of it.
You are listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. Stay tuned. Let's Talk About It Sunday edition will return in a moment.
Okay, and now back to business.
Listen on the air and online.
KELA.
Let's talk about it. Good morning. You're listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. This program was pre-recorded, so no live phone calls on today's show.
Polar Plunge.
Yes.
So we've got this coming up on January 27th, 9 a.m., Mayfield Lake. Sara, can you mention the Lewis County Special Olympics kind of pages that people can go to? Because there's the link where you can just donate to the team, but you can actually create, like if you want to plunge, you only have to donate $25. You just sign up and join us, right?
Yeah, well, I'll just say that we have it posted on the Lewis County Special Olympics Facebook page. Is there also, Peter, a Polar Plunge specific Facebook page?
There's a event page that's linked to Lewis County, and then it's on KELA, KMNT, and then I think anybody who's a team, like I think Dwayne Blair and others have all posted on their personal too.
Yeah. So if you're interested in learning more about Special Olympics or the Polar Plunge, you could go to the Lewis County Special Olympics Facebook page, and there will be an event link on there. And through that event link, you can sign up to plunge with the group. And then you can share that link so you can start having people can donate towards you as a plunger to continue running.
Jumping. Yeah.
Well, raising money for you as a plunger.
And when you sign up, you technically sign up, and you'll see it, and the money will go to the Special Olympics of Washington, because it's a 501c3, so it's a tax deductible donation. But then you reconcile with Special Olympics Washington so that the money stays and can be used here, right?
Yeah, and I think that's an important piece that we want to talk about, because when you register to be part of our team and you fundraise for that, it is part of the Special Olympics Washington Polar Plunge fundraising website. And at the end, after we complete our fundraising, we basically go in and we claim those funds that are for Lewis County, and those funds go directly to our program. So we're able to access 100% of the funds that were raised for Lewis County.
Yeah, so if you're looking to donate, whether you're a business, whether you're an individual, whether you want to be part of the team, go to the Lewis County Special Olympics website. You can go to KELA KMNT's website. You can go to, I know I posted it on my law firm's website, Altazarena Abbarno. I mean, we've tried to create as many opportunities in social media to be able to donate, to make it easy. And in past years, we've raised a lot of money. We've raised $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 into these types of endeavors. Sara, your daughter, I mean, how important it is for you and your daughter to have this. I mean, I don't, I kind of don't, I guess I don't know the deep feelings that it would be for a family who, and you work with them, who really need these opportunities.
Well, I can just share, like, very personal to me, that my daughter does have a physical disability, and her first year in Special Olympics, she actually won state for track. And that was just huge for her, because I don't think she ever saw herself in that light as somebody who could excel in something physically. And until you've witnessed Special Olympics, you can't really understand, but there really is an event for everybody. So track doesn't just have to be that you're running. There is wheelchair races, there's walker races, there's races for people who have visual impairments. And so there's really an opportunity for anybody with any ability to go in there and get to win and to be part of something bigger. And so I think that that's just been, for my daughter and for myself, just really cool to see that and be a part of that. But beyond the sports, there's friendships and there's connections, and the families who attend the practices, they're on the sidelines sharing resources. It's almost like a support group.
Yeah.
Just the relationships that are built. And these people have been getting together for years and years. And it's just so wonderful to get to be a part of that. And the other thing about Special Olympics, and we all know that healthcare is hard to access. It can be hard to get into the doctor, hard to get into the dentist. Special Olympics provides opportunities at the big events that they do, the big state competitions. They'll oftentimes have volunteer dentists there doing dental checkups, or they'll have a doctor there doing sports physicals. And so, again, it's the opportunity to be part of a team, to excel in sports. There's the relationship piece, but there's also this health and wellness piece that is just really important connection to be made for these athletes. And so it's really hard to put into words all the benefits that are that you have as part of being part of Special Olympics.
Well, you'll figure them out once you join, right? And once you witness it, like me, and you witness how special it is, and you see the massive impact. Sara, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank you and your family. I want to thank the county and everything you do for Lewis County Special Olympics. And I'm really encouraging people to go to the Lewis County Special Olympics Facebook page, go to the KELA KMNT Facebook page, join the team, donate. Super important. Ruben, you're also involved not just in the Special Olympics, but a lot of this goes through it's Centralia Police Officers Association too, right?
Correct. Yeah, we kind of use that as a vessel, and we're also a 501c3. So for the torch run, we actually use our account. That way, we want to make sure that we can write the check specifically to for Lewis County.
Yeah,
that's kind of how that got that started.
Yeah, and if people want to support the Centralia Police Officers Association, how do they get in contact with you?
So they can just call the police department or stop by at the office there. Our Facebook page, pretty easy.
Yeah, it is easy, and we try to make it as easy as possible for folks to be able to join the team, donate, and start getting involved now for that torch run, because I know we'll be getting the email probably after the first of the year saying, all right, we're going to start planning, we're going to start thinking about what we're going to do.
Yes.
And it's super exciting. And we in Lewis County want to continue to be leaders, not only in the fundraising, which I think we were like top 3 last year in Western Washington. I mean, and it's so satisfying to be like Seattle teams in fundraising, knowing they've got all those resources. So, but it's great to be leaders in the planning. I mean, you mentioned how we did it in COVID, and then we became the model. We are leaders, and we're leaders in this area thanks to people like Ruben and people like Sara. So make sure you come and support us. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It on AM 1470 KELA and 104.3 KMNT. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, and that was Ruben and Sara talking about the Lewis County Polar Plunge and the Icicle Brigade, who will be plunging in Mayfield Lake on January 27th at 9 a.m. So be sure to join us.